making small talk at a store, sending an email or text, listening to others when they're speaking, thinking to yourself. These are just some of the ways we interact with others and ourselves every day. It might not be that obvious that we're communicating all the time, but we are. And for almost everyone, at least one area of communication could use some improvement. Whether it's working in groups and teams, how you talk to yourself, or listening to others and not interrupting. By the end of this presentation, you will know how to improve your own communication, which will better your lives as a whole. When someone is a good communicator, it is said they have communication competence. Communication competence is being able to express yourself in a way that you achieve your goals and you keep a good relationship with the people you're talking to. Communication competence varies depending on the situation and who you're communicating with. For example, someone might express themselves very well with family and friends but have trouble with peers. While it may feel like you could never better your communication, you can. Communication competence can be learned. In fact, that's one of the 3 main themes that will help you better your communication skills. Communication competence can be improved. Another theme is all about risk-taking and making mistakes in order to learn and grow. And the final theme is intercommunication, how you think to yourself, is the root of all communication. In order to prove the 3 themes to be true, I participated in an 8-week project that aimed to improve one area of my communication. I chose to improve on assertiveness because I was tired of not speaking up in groups and classes and letting others do all the talking and decision-making. Being assertive is what Mom does when she tries to get a lower deal when buying a car. To measure my progress of becoming more assertive, I wrote in a journal every day the times that I said something in a group and the times that I didn't say anything that I wish I did. While I was working on the amount of times I contributed to conversations, I came upon some obstacles. One major obstacle that I faced was not being willing to speak up and express my ideas to others. This caused my self-talk to be very negative and proved that self-talk is important to communication. Self-talk, or interpersonal communication, is how you think or talk to yourself. Depending on if your self-talk is positive or negative, it can either boost or severely limit your ability to learn and improve. A good communicator is well aware of their interpersonal communication, and this allows them to remember information better and be more assertive. Being aware of your interpersonal communication is one part of a term called mindfulness. Mindfulness is defined by researcher John Kabat-Zinn as a non-judgmental, moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, body sensations, and surrounding environment. It keeps our thoughts in the present moment. Going back to the change project. After each week of writing in my journal, I tallied the amount of times I was successful and unsuccessful in speaking up, and I compared those tallies in a graph. I wasn't sure what to expect when I started the project. I didn't know if I would improve a lot or not at all. I also didn't know if I would honestly follow through with the goals I set myself, if it would be too hard to reach. I'm happy with my results. Even though I didn't improve by a huge amount and I wasn't perfect, I did still make an improvement. This increase proves that communication competence can be learned. Through hard work and dedication, I learned how to become more assertive, and I hope to continue to work on that skill into the future. To improve my assertiveness, I started with a detailed plan of action. That, with continuous practice speaking up, caused my improvement. Using repetition to learn is backed by science is a great way to learn a new skill. This science is called neuroplasticity, and it says that our brains are constantly changing and making new connections. When new connections are made, old connections are lost. But if something is repeated enough, those connections will stay and become stronger. Of course, as with learning any new skill, mistakes will be made along the way. Taking risks and knowing that mistakes and failures will happen, but doing it anyway, is one major way to see improvement in not only communication, but with any skill. An example of taking risks to learn is learning how to ride a bike. Using Haley as an example, you started off small, and then you took a risk and moved up to a normal bike with training wheels. After practice, you took another risk and took the training wheels off. From then, you fell down a lot, but you learned from those mistakes and kept trying. When those mistakes happen, how you talk yourself through those mistakes greatly determines how much you'll learn from them. During my change project, in the beginning when I didn't contribute much, I would put myself down and my self-talk would be negative. But as the weeks went by, my self-talk turned more positive, and I noticed more improvements. Because of the change project, I've noticed exceptional increases in the amount of times that I speak up in conversations and class discussions, and I hope this continues to improve. I have a goal to continue increasing my communication competence, which is successfully communicating ideas so goals are reached. In order to increase communication competence, more risks will have to be taken and mistakes are inevitable, but they will be learned from, and the interpersonal communication, self-talk, will be positive, because that's what creates the most growth and change. Using the main themes of communication competence can be learned, taking risks is necessary for learning, and interpersonal communication is the root of all communication. You can apply them to not only better your communication skills, but also to a wide variety of life experiences. With hard work and the right mindset, anything can be changed for the better.